If you are an empath or a habitual people pleaser, this Aquarius full moon is here to reset your priorities. So stay tuned. The full moon in Aquarius this year happens on August 1st for those of us in the US, and we are going to dive into the energies. So I already started shuffling the deck. As you could see, one of the cards fell out, so that is going to be our Total Betty Goddess card.
And you are?
Hi, I'm Michelle Shea Walker. I'm an intuitive, a coach, a teacher, and an oracle deck creator, and I do readings like this on the new and full moon every month to help guide you through the energies at large. I consider myself an astrological energy reader.
Astrologer.
Exactly.
So while I do dabble in astrology, I think of astrology more like I think of the tarot cards, in that there are certain buzzwords and qualities and archetypes connected to each sign and planet. And from those interpretations, I can then read into the spread overall and to let you know what to expect from the upcoming transits or for your sign. So these readings happen, again, as I said, every new and full moon, and they vary in their format. What we're going to do is we're going to have a general collective reading, which involves a goddess card for anyone that finds this video. The goddess is going to guide us through how to embody the divine feminine best during the energies that are happening under this Aquarius full moon. And then we're going to pull an energy and advice card for every single sign of the zodiac. So I don't always do readings quite this long because at the beginning of every month on my Patreon, I do a sign-by-sign reading of the month ahead. But this particular full moon, because it starts up the month, felt like it was fitting and appropriate. So if you resonate with what your sign's reading has to say here in this video, know that there's more for your sign over on the Patreon, because my beginning of the month taroscope involves a month ahead astrology, energy forecast, and a sign-by-sign tarot card reading.
Oh, I want that.
So the link for that will be below if you're interested, but I'm going to pick up the card that fell out of our deck to find out what 90s goddess is guiding us through this energy. So our Total Betty Goddess for the Aquarius full moon is Jillian, played by Ginger Spice from
Spice Girls and the Spice Girls.
So this card is an energy of being very flirtatious and allowing yourself to enjoy the connections of the world around you, but ultimately recognizing that you can rely the most on yourself. And this is very fitting for what I said in my blog post about this Aquarius full moon, because there is this sort of ebb and flow of energy between the Aquarian tendency to look at the collective and do things for the greater good, and the Aries North Node energy, which is what we're currently in, to want to be a little more selfish, to focus on ourselves. And so Jillian is kind of telling us that even though you're focusing on yourself, you can still have fun with the world around you. So the mythology behind Jillian is kind of been flipped on its head for the Total Betty Goddess deck. Not all mythologies are as empowering as I wanted them to be for this deck, so we took the essence of the story and made it slightly different meaning. And Jillian is basically a goddess that originally was placed at the center of a maze, and men of the city or wherever this location was would go in and compete to try and find her and save her. So the message behind Jillian in the Total Betty Goddess deck is actually that you have the power to rescue yourself.
You know me. Not much with the damseling.
This is a very fine line that we're walking. We're making sure that we are self-reliant underneath this full moon, but that we're not shutting out the world and not shutting out possibilities for connection with others or connection with community. So that is the general energy message, and the energy this divine feminine figure is guiding us through. So kind of keep her in the back of your mind, maybe play yourself some Spice Girls anthems. And without further ado, we're going to dive into the cards. So again, we're going to do an energy and advice card for every sign, because this is the Aquarius full moon. I'm going to start with Aquarius and work my way around to all 12 signs. P.S. If you like what's said here, there's also going to be more of this reading over on the Patreon, so we'll extend it over there for whatever needs to be answered. So another reason to check the links below.
You know you want to.
All right, first up, we have Aquarius, and we already have cards that want to fall out, so we've got your energy on the floor already. Let's see what the advice is going to be, and I will pick that up in just a second. Oh, we got an advice. Okay, hang on. So Aquarius, your energy underneath your full moon is the Knight of Swords. Your advice is the Knight of Cups. There's again, this back and forth between individuality and connection, because both of these are Knights cards, because we have two Knights cards here. So they have very similar energy in messages, moving forward, taking action. But the Knight of Swords is a little more solo focused. It's a little more diving towards your impulses, towards your goals, not really thinking about the world around you or how it's going to affect the other people in your life.
Because it's about me.
And then the Knight of Cups is an offer of love. You are definitely playing with the energy that I talked about in our preamble, which is that you want to focus in on yourself, but also not forget about the fact that you are part of a society, a community, maybe you're part of a relationship. And this is telling you that it's okay to follow your impulses as long as your impulses aren't affecting the destiny of someone else that you care about. If no one's hurt by your impulsive action, go for it. Follow through. Do what you need to do. But if there's someone that's gonna be sort of collateral damage in these impulsive actions, you might want to kind of take a step back and think about how your actions affect those around you. And that doesn't mean that you still don't go through with the action that's best for you, but you go in with eyes open. You go in recognizing the collateral damage of what you're about to do, or you choose to find a different route towards what you want that doesn't affect someone else so negatively. So I hope that reading served you well, Aquarius. Moving on, we're going to go into Pisces. So Pisces will get you an energy and advice card. We got two that fell out, so let's go with that. Pisces, your energy is the Wheel of Fortune, and your advice is the Page of Swords. The energy under this full moon for you, Pisces, is one of an ebb and flow and recognizing blessings when they show up, but also not getting too caught up in the things that aren't working out for you. The Wheel of Fortune is always a sign that there has to be ups and downs no matter what stage of your life you're in. And it's a really good time period to cultivate deep gratitude for what is going right or even what has gone right. So when you're having a little bit of a lull or a downturn on your wheel, you can think back to the things that you're grateful for, even if the current circumstances aren't necessarily ideal. The Page of Swords is your advice is telling me that there might be something that you want to communicate very gently in regards to shifting your circumstance or your situation. And this could go either way. If you're feeling particularly grateful for someone in your life, it might be something that you are being called to share, because the Page of Swords is a little hesitant about communicating. And this is just a kind of encouragement to let that person know how you feel. And then if you are going through a period that's a bit of a downfall that has something to do with someone affecting your emotions, you want to gently bring up that topic with that person and let them know how they're making you feel.
This is how I feel.
This is a reading of gratitude and communication, and it comes back to our general theme of self versus other, in that sometimes by taking care of your own needs, by telling someone what you need or what you want or how they're making you feel, you affect the situation at large more positively, you shift the energy, and they also benefit from that. So even though those conversations can sometimes be tough to have at first, by getting it out in the open, you're clearing the air. You're making things better overall for the future. Even if that means that you tell someone something's not working out and nothing changes and you have to extract yourself from the situation, at least you didn't drag something out longer than it needed to for both of you. Because when you're in a bad situation or a bad relationship, there are two people involved in that bad energy. So you're not only forcing yourself to keep suffering by not saying something and not speaking up, you're forcing your partner to keep suffering as well. So think of it as your selfish action serves the collective or serves the other individual involved in whatever circumstance is happening here. Moving forward from Pisces into Aries. Aries, we have cards that are falling out right away, so let's see what those are. Aries, your energy card is the Ace of Wands, and your advice is the Emperor, which is the Aries energy. So you're in your power. Honestly, you are in a position right now where you're feeling passionate about something, you're feeling inspired by something, and the universe is saying, do not delay on this action. Like, take action immediately on this thing that's making you bubble up, because it is what's going to let you sit in the seat of your own power. It's going to let you come into the place where not only are you the emperor and you see the entire big picture of the situation and you can move forward and you can be your own boss, but also you're in your Aries power as well. So you can embody the best qualities of your sign. I don't even have anything more to say than that. Like, I think you know what this thing is. So whatever it is that's been like tickling your passion, stop putting it off, or don't put it off. If you haven't started putting it off already, like, take action forward, and you will not regret it, because you're going to feel your most authentic, empowered self by following through with this impulse.
Just do it!
So from Aries, we're moving into Taurus. Taurus, your 2-card energy and advice reading is the energy of the 3 of Pentacles, and the advice is death. Never fear the death card. It's always a rebirth.
Sure it is.
The energy of the 3 of Pentacles is telling me that there's a bit of collaborative energy that you may not be fully embracing right now. You might be trying to do it on your own. You might be shouldering the burdens of yourself and other people around you. Again, read the blog post about people pleasing that I posted for this Aquarius full moon. And the death card is saying that there's a rebirth of this cycle, that you are now resetting these patterns and recognizing that you don't have to do it all, that you can ask for help, that you can collaborate with those around you, and that other people can actually take care of their stuff more than you give them credit for. There's kind of an energy here of that stubborn Taurian need to feel like your way is always the right way. And so in helping those that you love, you think that you have to do it all because you're the one that knows how to do it right. And sometimes other people have different methods and different ways to get to what they need and what they want. And just because it doesn't look exactly like the way that you would have done it, doesn't mean that it's not going to get them to the same destination. So sometimes when it comes to those around you that you love, that you're trying to help out, you have to let them stumble forward in a way that's authentic to them, rather than trying to take on their burdens and do it all for them, and ultimately hinder them from experiencing the process of learning it on their own. I hope that reading served you well, Taurus. Moving from Taurus into Gemini. Gemini will have an energy and advice card for you, and the cards are an energy of 7 of Wands and an advice of the Tower. I want to say this gently because I love the Tower card. I love when the Tower card comes up because it ultimately means that you're leading towards a more destined path, something that's really more fitting for you. But what these cards feel like to me are, you've been fighting really hard to hold your position in a place that's not meant for you. Could be a job, it could be a location, it could be a relationship, but you've been really just like digging your heels in and deciding that this is where you want to be and no one's going to tell you any differently. And the universe is coming in with a tower underneath this full moon to tell you that you've built your tower on a foundation that was flawed. It wasn't actually authentic for you. It wasn't destined for you. And that is why it is crumbling down now. So if you have had something in your life that you've just been really stubborn about moving forward from or moving on from, and you can't seem to catch a break, if things keep crumbling down around you, that is your sign. That is a sign that you are actually supposed to move on, that there is something better suited for you. If you just scrap what you've built here, move forward, lay a stronger foundation somewhere else, and start over. And starting over feels scary, but it also gives you the opportunity to do it right in a way that you didn't have the knowledge to do previously. So it's really a blessing. Every time the Tower shows up, you're going to build yourself a way better, stronger life than you ever could have before, sticking with that location or that situation that you dug your heels on and actually weren't meant to be in. So from Gemini, we're moving into Cancer. My fellow Cancerians, we're going to get us 2 cards here, and we have 2 want to jump out. The energy for Cancers is the 4 of Wands, and your advice, the 9 of Pentacles. I love these cards for you and for myself.
I'm so happy for me.
The 4 of Wands as a cause for celebration. There's something that you've been striving for, something that you've been trying to build, or someone you're trying to connect with that now has found a really good foundation. It's found a place to grow, a place to thrive. It's not finished yet, whatever it is, but your starting point is good. So it's kind of the opposite of the Tower card in that, like, you are already starting your foundation building and it's actually strong and it's stable and it's not going to crumble if you keep down this path. And the 9 of Pentacles is telling me that you're actually better off financially and abundance-wise than you might be giving yourself credit for here, or you will be in the near future. So trust that that is coming. The Nine of Pentacles and the Four of Wands is also a great balance of the energy we talked about in our preamble for this Aquarius full moon, because the Four of Wands tends to involve other people, it involves people celebrating you, or it involves a partnership coming together. And the Nine of Pentacles is usually the single person's abundance card, and that you have created this wealth for yourself and you don't necessarily have to rely on anyone else to help support you. So it's a balance. It's a recognizing that you are stable and strong and financially secure on your own, but that doesn't mean that you should avoid sharing your life with someone else or with a community. So keep that in mind as you move forward, Cancer. Moving forward from Cancer into Leo. Leo, your energy and advice cards. We have one that fell out. Let's see if we got another one that fell out. So your energy is the Nine of Wands and your advice is the Six of Cups. So Leo, you are so much closer than you think you are, but in order to get to where you want to go, you have to kind of turn back the clock and go back in time.
What does that mean?
The Six of Cups as your advice card is telling me that there's something in nostalgia land in your brain that is going to help unlock the final keys to where you're trying to get. So Nine of Wands is telling me you've already done some good work. Whatever it is that you're striving for, whatever it is that you've been trying to accomplish that you feel like has been way too long coming and you feel like you're not sure you're ever going to get there, first of all, know that you are going to get there and it's so much closer than you think it is. But I think the key to the last few steps on this ladder lies in something in your past. It could be a passion or an interest for your childhood that's going to unlock something that helps you move forward towards this goal. It could be a relationship or a connection from your childhood that actually has the keys to the next couple steps or the next couple doors. Let yourself just kind of get into this dreamy, nostalgic space. Read old journals, look at old photo albums, think back to the times in your life that you were the happiest and most joyful and felt most yourself. And whatever time period that is, kind of explore it in your mind. And if there's anything that pops out at you as something that you really miss doing, or someone you miss talking to, or someone that might be relative to your current journey, you might reach out or you might dive back into that old hobby. Sometimes it's very clear what this connection is and sometimes it's not. So just go with what feels good. And even if it's like you're going to start doing watercolor again because you did that as a child and that makes no sense for the goal that you're trying to achieve, something about doing watercolor maybe is super meditative for you and it unlocks a thought in your mind and that gives you the next steps. You know, it doesn't have to make direct correlation to your goals in order for it to help you move forward. So from Leo, we move into Virgo. Virgo, we had a lot of cards fall out. I'm not going to take all those, but we'll see if any of them jumped out separate. So Virgo, we had two cards that fell away from the pile that fell out of the deck. So I'm going to take those as your energy advice. So your energy is the Eight of Pentacles and your advice is a Star. You will be blessed for hard work at this time underneath this full moon, which feels really good for Virgo energy because Virgo are usually not afraid to putting their nose to the grindstone.
I'm just a hard worker, you know.
And the Eight of Pentacles is telling me that you are currently refining your skills in a certain area. And it may be an area that you're new to, or it may be an area that you've been doing for years and it feels old hat, but you feel like you want to go back to the drawing board a little bit and get a better feel for how you can make yourself better in a certain area. And I do get the feeling that for most of you, it is something you've been doing for a while. And that's why it feels weird to be going back to the drawing board or going back and taking classes or whatever. But it feels like there's something that maybe shifted in your field of expertise. And by going back to the drawing board a little bit and letting yourself be an apprentice or a student for a while, you're going to ascend to that next level of expertise that's just going to put the finishing touch on whatever it is that you do. And it could be something that you do for a hobby, it could be something you do for a living. For a lot of you, I do feel like it's career. So whatever it is that you do for your chosen career, not necessarily your day job, but your chosen career, honestly, never consider yourself an expert. The goal is to keep growing and keep changing and keep evolving and keep learning. So if you've reached a place of complacency where you feel like you know everything, you don't. So just put yourself back in that student mindset, into that beginner mindset, and you will find so many blessings coming up because of that. So again, this feels like you're going to be rewarded for your hard work. So just, go back to the drawing board, trust that you don't know it all, that you're going to learn something that's going to really unlock something within you. I think it's going to revive some passion for you as well by going back and learning something new about something that you think you already know. It's going to make it feel fresh and new. So I'm excited for you, Virgo. I hope that works out. Moving on from Virgo into Libra. Libra, your tarot cards just fell out. Your energy card is Three of Wands, and your advice is the Eight of Cups. So Libra, you are really powerfully manifesting something new underneath this full moon, which is not normally when we manifest. It's normally a new moon. But you're also needing to walk away from something to manifest this something new. So it's still fitting for a full moon, because walking away from something and releasing something is very full moon energy. I have a couple different hits that I'm getting here. One is just make sure that you are clear on your manifestations and what you're trying to call into your life. I don't get a specific area. It could, for some of you, it's relationships. For some of you, it's career. For some of you, it's a little bit of everything. But whatever it is you want your ideal life to look like, think about that and really play it out in your head. And then recognize what in your life isn't serving that vision, and start taking the steps to extract yourself from those situations or relationships, because it's something that feels done, and you know it feels done. You're just trying to make it work and trying to make it work and trying to make it work and avoiding change, quite frankly.
Change is good. Change is good. Change is good.
And so if you can stop avoiding change for the fear of walking away from something that you already know, you'll be walking towards something that you actually want more. But again, first things first, get clear on what you want your future to look like, because that's going to help you really clarify what you're walking away from, because it's going to be like one of these things is not like the other, and you're just going to be able to really clearly pick out what doesn't work with the person that you're becoming. So I hope that served you well, Libra. Moving on into Scorpio. Scorpio, we have two cards that are right set up in the deck already. I'm going to take those. That felt real creepy.
Creepy, yeah.
Which feels fitting. Like, of course, Scorpio energy has some sort of magical cards that are already flipped over. So Scorpio, your energy under this full moon is the Seven of Swords, and your advice is the Five of Cups. Scorpio, I think you're keeping secrets that are holding you back from your happiness. I think it's both. I think you're keeping secrets from yourself about what would make you truly happy, and you're keeping secrets from those around you about what you want that would make you happy. So this is coming back to our general message of your selfishness is going to serve the general collective, in that it feels like, whether this be a relationship as far as romantic or friendship, or a professional interaction, either way, you're keeping a secret from yourself about what you want and telling yourself that you're happy, or that you can make it work, or that it's fine. And then because of that, you're not speaking your truth to the other person involved and letting them know why you're not happy and what you need them to change. So this is very similar to another reading. I want to say it was Pisces, but don't quote me on that. But I think Pisces, or one of the signs around that, might be a resonant reading for you as well. So if you want to listen to that as well, feel free. But Scorpio, you're being called to be honest in your relationships. And I know it's scary. And I said this in the other reading, like it's scary to be vulnerable. It's scary to rock the boat. But like I told Pisces, or whoever I said this to, by putting up with a less than ideal relationship situation and trying not to rock the boat, you're not the only person in an unhappy relationship. Even if you haven't told the other person in the relationship that you are unhappy, I guarantee that they can sense something. And maybe they don't know what it is, but something's making them feel a little crazy, a little off, a little unhappy too. And by revealing your truth, by revealing your feelings, by revealing that you're not happy and revealing what you need, you clear the air and you lift the weight off this person's shoulders. Because I can tell you, as an empath, there are way too many times in my life where I'm in a situation where the other person isn't telling me something. And because I don't know that they're not telling me something, I just feel like I'm going crazy with a wave of emotions that doesn't feel like mine. So if you are unhappy in the situation, you're also making the other person unhappy, or they too are also unhappy, because there can't be two people in a relationship that has an unhappy situation for one of them and the other person is truly happy. That's not how it works. If anything, because we all want to be in a relationship with someone that wants to be in a relationship with us. Even if they don't know they're unhappy, they are unhappy because you're not providing what they want. So clear the air, express what you want. Maybe that other person can show up for you, maybe they can't. But worst case scenario, you decide that this is not something you can come together on, and both parties become free to go find a situation that makes them happy. And that is what you should want, not just for yourself, but for the other people involved. So again, we come back to, by being selfish, you serve the collective, you serve the other people involved, because you free them up to find happiness. Do not keep the two of you chained to this unhappy situation. Whew, this feels real heavy, Scorpios. So I hope this serves you. And again, I feel like for some of you, this is romantic relationship. This is probably where it feels the heaviest, but it could be a friendship and it could be a professional situation as well. But give both parties the freedom to go be happy in whatever way that shows up. That doesn't mean that they're not going to end up being happy in the same situation. Like, you guys could talk things out and it could work out, but you want to make sure that you clear the air so that that can be a possibility. Moving on from Scorpio into Sagittarius. Sagittarius, you have cards that are already jumping out. So let's see what your energy advice is. You have the energy of the Page of Cups and the advice of the Six of Swords. You're moving towards a new love of some kind. And for some of you, it's a new relationship love, but for some of you, it's a new passion, like a new creativity that's going to light you up. But either way, it feels really good. It might feel a little burdened by past experiences. Honestly, I think for a lot of you, this may not be a relationship. If it resonates as a relationship, listen that way. But I think for a lot of you, this is some sort of new creative endeavor. And you're feeling really like bubbly and excited about it. Like it's like a little like crush energy. You've got a crush on your new creativity.
I have a crush.
But you've maybe done some creative projects in the past or just recently come out of something that didn't work out. And you're scared to move forward. And again, this feels very fitting for a romantic relationship. So I think it's very easy to translate it to that. But think of it like a relationship. If it is a creative project, think of it as in you've got a crush on this new creativity and your last relationship kind of burned you, but that shouldn't keep you from moving forward into this new thing. And the best advice that I have for this is to be really upfront about your expectations and how you want things to play out. So if it is a relationship, you want to be upfront with the partner. You want to be really vocal about what it is that you're wanting from the situation. But if it is a creative endeavor, I want you to be really upfront with the universe. I want you to sit down and really script out how you would ideally like this creative endeavor to play out and how far you want to take it, how much time you want to commit to it, how you want it to feel along the way. And let that be sort of the contract that you're signing with yourself and the universe about this project to ensure that you're going in with a different energy than what you're dragging in from the past. From Sagittarius, we're moving into Capricorn. So Capricorn, your two cards, energy and advice. We got one, so I'll figure out what the advice is with another shuffle. There we go. Okay, Capricorn, your energy is the Ten of Wands, and your advice is the Three of Swords. So not the happiest of cards, Capricorn, but you can handle it. It's fine. You're ready to move on.
Even though I am not.
Ten of Wands is saying that you are ready to put down the burdens that you've been carrying around, and they're probably not all your own. And the advice is the Three of Swords, which is to not be afraid of a little bit of heartbreak, to get yourself out of a situation where you're carrying around too many burdens. Everyone always immediately goes to romantic relationships with the Three of Swords. And for some of you, it is a romantic relationship where you know it's done. You feel too burdened by this energy and you're just ready to move on, but you don't know how. You don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. You don't want to break anyone's heart. And the cards are saying you got to. Because again, if you go back and listen to Scorpio and Pisces, they had a little different than this energy, but a similar message, which is that if you are unhappy or burdened in a situation, in a relationship, that other person is going to feel that unhappiness in some way. So don't feel like you, just because you're being secretive about it, you are actually saving them or making them happier. In the short term, you might make them less happy by unburdening yourself, but in the long term, you're freeing everyone up to find their own happiness. So, wow. I mean, we are in Venus retrograde, so it makes sense that there's a lot of readings here that can be interpreted as a breakup or a moving on from a hard situation. But this also reads as a career-based reading as well. So if it resonates more for you that you're carrying around too many burdens at work, time to break up with those burdens at work. And you got to just be okay with the fact that you're going to speak your truth, and you're going to say that you're not willing to carry around as much as you have been, and move forward. Because again, this energy is doing what's best for you, and also knowing that by doing what's best for you, you are serving the collective. So I'm actually going to call a theme for an extended reading over the Patreon. So if you resonated for needing advice on how to move forward after speaking a hard truth,
Me?
Yes.
that's going to be what we dive in over on the extended reading. So for those of you that had a reading that was similar to that, or just resonate with that statement, head over to the link below and we'll figure out what the advice is for that. And if you're watching on the Patreon, the rest of your reading starts right now. That just got really emotional for a second. Whew. I think we all needed to hear that. Just call out for help. Give me a second.